Twitter world just reminded me I probably should pull up the repository so we can talk about it a little bit before we get moving. How is everyone's Monday / whatever day you might be watching this going? Hopefully great. Just got back off of a week vacation, which means I spent all day today at work going through emails and Teams messages to quote unquote catch up, or as I like to call it, pay the PTO tax. What are we going to do today? I think today we are going to upgrade this application from .NET Core 3.1, I believe it is, to .NET 5. If you're not familiar with this app, it's pretty much what we've been working on for 6 months roughly now. And it hasn't been 6 months continuous. It's been on and off as we add features to it or work on different things. But essentially, it's a application we built from the beginning to kind of show how to design and build an application from scratch. And it uses APIs, Azure Functions, multiple layers of the app to make it dynamic and easy for us to change. So we're going to spend some time today kind of upgrading it. Now, based on my other experience with upgrading a couple of apps over the last week, it's fairly easy, and for the most part should be pretty painless. So every time I say that, something happens. So knock on wood, nothing happens. So let's go take a look at it. So I already validated that the database still works because I haven't touched this app in a month. I did not validate that the actual application is running locally. So let's do that before we run, because I don't want to spend time trying to figure out an issue when the application itself wasn't working. So I launched the API. We have to launch the API first, and then we'll launch the user interface. So that's fine because there's authentication, which is why we get a 401 error. And then I launched the UI, there it is. Once this launches, we'll be able to view around, take a look at some sample records. If they're all there, everything's working, then we can go and upgrade it. This app, like I said, requires authentication, so you probably just saw it log into using the Microsoft identity, log into my Hotmail account, and there is an issue with this particular application, and it has nothing to do with technologies. It's mostly me. There's an issue with the cookies not saving correctly, so if I don't delete them when I first start, it breaks. So do this, it's going to force authentication again, because now it's going to actually ask for certain permissions on the user's behalf. And it's working, so I can see it. If I click on myself, I get my name, date of birth, wedding anniversary, etc. So everything's good and working. So let's go and close these out and go back to Writer. And I'm going to stop all. This way we can upgrade them. So upgrading is relatively simple. I'm going to start with the API backend first. Let's check the dependencies that it has. It has data, SQL Server, domain, and logic. So let's go and update all those. Before we go and update all those, I want to make sure we don't have any dependencies here. Domain and image manager. So let's go and update all of the non-interface ones. So that's pretty much all of this. Ooh, I wonder if I can bulk do that. Guess not. So there's a couple different ways. You can do the same thing in Visual Studio. You do properties. Up will come a list. These are all .NET standard because they're all libraries. So let's go and change that to .NET 5. We don't need these to be backwards compatible because they're only being used by this app. Click OK, and here I can use whatever version of C# I want to use. Since this is only used in .NET 5, I can use C# 9 and higher, and then I can rinse and repeat for the other 4. Now, easy way to do that is I'm going to copy this out. I hit Alt F4 to get that. Ignore the missing dependencies. We're going to do a project level update in a little bit. I'm going to update all the new get packages and everything. Oh, guess I already updated data. Oh yeah, I didn't do the API. That's it. So this one I don't have to update since we're not really using it, but I'd rather keep them consistent. Function F4. And what you notice if you're watching behind the scenes, Writer is updating the packages. You'll see a quick little updating dependencies here, and then at the bottom, updating dependencies as we go through them. And there'll be some reds because some of them are referencing each other, which means they can't talk because it doesn't know how to talk between .NET 5 and .NET Standard. So as we go and update these, actually this one I want to support both for this only because I don't think Azure Functions works with .NET 5 work yet. So I am going to do this as .NET Standard 2 also, so that it builds a dependency that Azure Functions can handle. Do that. And as you can see, there's lots of different ways. Since I'm doing copy paste, it's easier to just edit the project file itself. And let's take this out. And then the test needs to be done. This could be .NET 5.0. It doesn't recognize that one, so let's do it the easier way and do it via here. C# 9. And then we should be good. So now the next step, let's close all these windows, is to update this one. So again, we can get rid of 3.1, turn it into .NET 5. And one of the things you'll notice is that things are actually a lot faster with .NET 5. I ran it on one of my side projects this weekend, the Azure helpers, and I noticed my test cases were failing for it. And I looked, and I run the test cases after every time I make any code changes. In this particular time, the test cases were failing because the code was executing so quick that my random number generator was repeating numbers and causing duplicates. So I had to add milliseconds to it. So now we updated everything. Let's build it all, make sure there are no errors. Now, if you're watching before, there was some yellow in here. That's because I was using a preview version previously, and Writer was telling you, it's like, hey, I really don't know how to handle this yet. So it was more so I was using the .NET 5 preview SDK to build the .NET 3.1, .NET Core 3.1 project, and it was complaining about that. So let's go and get these two started. I launch the web app. You see how fast that started? Oh, it's freaking lightning fast compared to before. Now let's start the API. Granted, I just built it too, so it wasn't like it was a fresh build. Let's go with our home, which we are at, and contacts. And that loaded. Granted, it didn't have to do the speed, but you notice everything is a lot faster. So that was pretty much it. Granted, I'm not doing anything super special, but one of the things that the framework team or the .NET team really tried to focus on was speed and upgradability. They had some like 97 or 98% of the APIs made it across. Now we see it's working. Let's go and do the next thing, which would be upgrading all the NuGet packages. So all of our dependencies are using their .NET 5 counterparts. So where's my NuGet? Here you go. Give writer a second to catch up. There it goes. You can see there's probably a good chunk of them. One, because I haven't updated this in a while, and two, I for .NET 5. So here we had a preview version. I went and since made that non-preview, so that would work. These were updates I did this weekend to support .NET 5. As you see, .NET Core App 5 is now available. Same thing for these. Some of them are going to have .NET 5 counterparts. Some of them won't. Let's see if App Insights does. App Insights looks like it's only .NET Standard 2. Let's check. AutoMapper is only .NET Standard 2. So it looks like so far only my libraries have been updated, which is kind of expected because the framework came out and, package libraries need some time to update, run their tests. When I run a simple project like the Azure helpers.storage, I pretty much have, 5 classes in it and a bunch of tests, so I can run it, execute my tests, and prove it out. But if I'm doing something like App Insights or any framework, that has a whole new look. I should probably update to NA Framework 5, which right now, where am I at? I don't even know what version I'm at. It looks like I'm only at version 3. Oh, it's going to update it to 5. Cool. So let's do our writer magic and do update all packages. And you see there's a slew of packages to update. So this might take a minute. And I don't know if you can see it on my screen. No, you can't because it's directly beneath me, but the packages are updating right now. Let's move that up a little bit to right about there. And you'll see, oh, you still can't see because it's behind me, but right behind my shirt, so right there, all the packages are updating. Right now, everything is updated, as you can see right here. So let me rebuild the project. Make sure there's no broken dependencies or anything that is changed since packages update. I'm more worried about any framework core. Oh, seems like everything's good. So let's run both projects now. Let's start it up. And let's go here to UI. Start that up. Now if this works, we'll check it in, make sure our site builds. Oh, I have to update the build scripts. I have to remember to do that. I don't have those in here. Let me add those. I'll add those back in a second. So contacts, there's a delay the first time because it's checking to make sure that the tokens are good, but after that, it's super fast. So like if I go here and come back to contacts, it's fast. And you can see everything works. I can edit this. I should be able to change that image. I really like the Monopoly Man image. Oh, no, I can't. I probably don't have Azure running. That's no big deal. That's just my local machine. I'm missing something, so no worries. So that's good. Before we do that, let's check. I gotta add the GitHub file to here so we can edit it. So let's do add existing item. Now, I think when we first built this, we edited the file online. So I want to edit this file anyway. So this is going to, on any pull request or any branch, automatically build it, which is fine. But this is what we want to change. I want to change it to use the new version of .NET. So it's 5.0.100. And I know that only because I did it for one of my other projects. And it's going to build and it's going to deploy everything. And then we're going to have to come back and delete all this extra white space. We're going to have to come back and swap it out. So let's go and do that. Control save. Go to our commit. And we're going to add in every file. Upgraded the site to .NET 5. Commit and push. And I don't know why I have to hit commit and push and then push again. I'm sure there's a reason for it, but it always bothers me. Because that's why the 3 dots are there to telling you. I just want commit and push, one step. Don't make me click another button. Okay, well that's pushing. Let's go watch some paint dry and look at our actions. In a second or so, this should refresh. Ooh, apparently the last time I built this was 22 days ago. Oh, that was the changes we made for the React Native client. And there's our new one popped up, upgraded to .NET, the site to .NET 5. So let's go and watch it run, because, you know, it's always fun to sit there and just watch it do its thing. While this is running, I'm going to get to the portal so that we can get ready to publish our changes. Our changes automatically get published, but we use slots. So everything is pushed to a test slot, so to speak, and then we kind of have to promote it to the production slot. So I'm going to open up one of you in a new window and one of you in a new window, so I can do them both at the same time. So we're going to want to come down here to, I think it's deployment slots I can do it in. Yep. And deployment slots here. So you'll notice here, API is production and we have API tests. That's not production. Our code gets deployed to this so we can validate it here. Unfortunately, it doesn't work because I don't have the dynamic configuration done to determine that. So we won't be able to test it out. Maybe that's something I can do in the next stream. Oh, we got our build failure. Something failed to build. Something failed. Build fields. Cannot find a home runner, NuGet.net SDK is 3011 build. Why is it looking to build 3011? Oh, it's for, the ooh, why are we trying to build the functions? Huh. I wonder. I'm only pushing the APIs. Oh, because I have the build to build the entire solution. I could probably change this to not build the functions because I don't want to build the functions. That's a whole separate thing. Well, this is checked in here. Let's go and do the edits here. So there's two ways to do this. I could edit and exclude the functions. Technically, I want to actually pull the functions out into their own, but that's a whole nother thing. So we should be able to change this to build twice or exclude the one file. I know I can do it in the Azure repos, but I don't know if I can do it here. So, you can't do it this way. .net. .net build. Oh, it's actually just running the .net build. It's not a task. So let me just get the command line arguments for .net build. In Azure, it's a task, and the task has different parameters that kind of wrap around the .net build. So here you can do project or solutions. Let's see if the project supports wildcards. Nope, it looks like it's either or. The project or solution to build. If a project or solution isn't specified, current working directory or folder that has a file extension that ends in either PRJ. So I guess I can just use true.net build commands and do this one. I forgot the names of them. Let's go here. And where is this sit? Properties. Well, I think it's in the source folder. Let's go and check here. Open you in a new tab. Source. Okay. Source and then the project. So let's go to, where are you? Here. And I'm just going to copy and paste you. Build API. Build web. I keep saying on here that I kind of want us, or I want to separate these out now so that they're in their own repositories. and everything, but I haven't done that yet. And this should be contacts.web/contacts.web.csproj, and I missed an S there. Created separate .NET build task or .NET build steps. Let's see if this works. Ideally, there should really be either 2 repos for it, and then they build independently of each other. The same thing with the functions, or just have separate build actions that are specifically tailored to each. Reason why you want separate repositories is because I might update the functions more than I update the web UI, let's say, or the API, and I don't want to have to rebuild all 3 projects at once. Maybe that'll be Tuesday's stream. Separate these out into separate repositories. Well, I am looking for new topics. I have a couple that I've been thinking about. I already did the update one, so can't do that one anymore. Updated contacts, I did that one. So I got 2 more left. I was thinking about doing a talk on records and then one on pattern matching, which are 2 new features of .NET. API failed. Project file does not exist. Contacts API. Oh, I typed in project wrong. Silly Joe. Can tell you this weekend I was working on one of my other projects, the Azure helpers, and I spent 24-ish hours, not straight, but time from my start, time to finish, till I finally got the build scripts working. I was doing things with code signing and other things, and it just was a real pain. And I finally got it to work, and I was so happy, but then realized it was over 4-ish minutes to build. And luckily, I put a little helper out on Twitter, and someone gave me an idea to run it on Ubuntu or Linux instead of Windows, and cut the time in more than half. So that was awesome. You probably heard some beeps. I got some emails about the build failures, as you can see here. And my return of a product I bought. It's good. Let's see you. At least this is a lot faster and you get to build things done. With the repo, I was having trouble with testing it out, and by the time it built and ran all the tests, the step I actually wanted to get to, which was signing, was like 3 minutes in. So it was pretty long. Especially when you do something like this build and then you're just waiting and waiting. You know all these parts are going to work. I was like, just want you to dump here. But that's the nature of using a public build server is, your image is pretty much scrapped when it's done. And it just, it's constantly spinning up new instances. Come on. Restore. The test sites are waiting. And the path is wrong. I still have the path wrong. Why is the path wrong? Let me go and check it out in the File Explorer. Show an Explorer. And Explorer popped up on a different window. That should be right. Source. Context API. Context API.csproj. What do I have it as? Source. Context API / context API csproj. I wonder if it's case sensitive. So it should be starting from here. So this is the project it should be using. Maybe because it's Ubuntu, it's case sensitive. So let me go and try that out. I could also just code it to not use the actual project name, or just point it to the directory. Edit. I'm guessing it's just really case sensitive. Ooh, replace the whole thing. This is web UI and web UI, right? Contacts, web UI, contacts, web UI. Yes, 4 times the charm. Fix the spelling errors. You know how many times I typed that last weekend? Over the weekend. Oh, silly Joey, I should have just copied it straight from here. From the published part. Duh. My bad. Part of my background is showing on my thing. Let's go to the Action tab and see where we are at. Freestyle Coda, what's there? I don't think I've ever seen UI, normal UI. Yeah, I know. I don't know why I actually did uppercase U, lowercase I. I was trying to be Pascal sensitive, and then ReSharper and other things were complaining with me about the spelling errors, and I migrated some of them, and then others I did. I know the UI in all caps just bothered me when I first created it, but it's kind of stuck with it. As you see here, when I have the scripts, it's capital U, and why is this failing? And capital I. Ah, damn it, another typo. I think the worst part about this is trying to type and talk at the same time, just like if I'm doing a presentation, and miss things here and there because I'm not really focused on the actual text. I got 2 J's there because I didn't copy enough. So thanks for joining. I know it's late for some. 2 people on the stream, which is kind of cool. Normally end up with 1. Freestyle Coda, that's Chris, right? Make sure I got the handles. Yeah, it definitely is. Practice and reps. Sad part is I've been doing it for usually 3 times a week for 6 months, and it's just miss things here or there. I think the biggest thing with me is I do this differently than in the very beginning. I treated it like I do my conference talks, where they're well rehearsed and a lot more polished. There's usually a script to it, where these are more realistic. I'm just coming in and trying to do it and try to figure it out. And every once in a while, you just make mistakes. I mean, there's been times where I spent 3 hours on something where once I got off the stream and worked on it, I figured it out in 2 minutes. It's just weird. But, like you said, it's practice. It's just like my speaking. Hey, the build is working now. Just like my speaking, it's just things you practice over time. There we go. We got this working. Have you been getting your 5 people average chatting at a time, Chris? Thanks for joining. I guess daylight savings time. Nice. I guess daylight savings time helps with the time difference now. It's you're in Central, I think, right? So it's probably 7 for you now. Cool. So the web API is published, so I should be able to swap these. Swap. And this one should be done by now. No. This one's done by now, so I can swap these. Oh. Where'd that one go? Deployment slots, context API, and swap. I did a split of traffic 50-50, but I decided not to. It's really not pain. And if this works, once the swap is complete, takes a couple of seconds. It pretty much spins up a new instance and then changes all the DNS entries. 8. Oh yeah, it's 7 o'clock already for me. Yeah. I mean, when I started, it was 7:30 for you. Since I started about a half hour ago. Okay, that one's done. This one's almost done. So let me just get the URL for it because I don't remember what it is. And go to it. Ooh. Specify. Oh, yeah. So this is an interesting error. ANCM failed to find native dependencies. And I probably should have remembered this, but there are some talks about Azure App Service does not support .NET 5 right away. It does support it, but you have to do some extra work out of the box, and let's see if I can do it. It does with net new ones. I don't know if I can do it with an existing one, but we're going to try and figure it out. There's nothing here. Let's see if it's on the app service plan level. Ooh, look at my memory level, 60%. Let's go to my app server. Where are you? File storage, networking, properties. Overview. There is a way to tell it to use the version, but I don't know. I don't remember how to do it off the top of my head. There was a tweet about it on Wednesday. See if I can find it. Azure App Service .NET 5. Azure App Service needs work closely, deliver, blah, blah, blah. First app was achieved. Yeah. Oh, yes. Wait, how do you do it? First app service platform, yeah. Okay, well, that was a useless post. It was available as of November 11th. Using new early access to learn more. Come on. Seems like I'm going to write a blog post tonight once I figure it out. Deploy Azure service today. So they valid made possible, blah, blah, blah. So go to configuration. So that's here. And I probably have to configure the individual app. Configuration. General settings, .NET Core. Change it to .NET. Early access. Platform. 64-bit, integrated, blah, blah, blah. Everything else is good. Let's hit save. Let's go and do that for you now. General settings, .NET, early access, 64-bit, save. Continue. Now while these are updating, that's updated. I think they're both updated now. Let's refresh this and see. Nope, it didn't work. Let's do a hard reload of this. So go into developer tools, empty cache and hard refresh. Let's close all these other windows. This is a lot better because now it's actually taking its time to load, which usually means it's respinning up the instance. Sweet, there it goes. I should make sure that the API is restarted because this will freak out if it's not. Let's just do a nice restart of it just to make sure it picked up the configuration settings. While we're at it, let's go and delete the cookies here because I know that there's a bug in there without the cookies. You must be restarted already. So let's go and do that. Yeah. API is probably not ready yet. Either that or I got a configuration typo again. Well, I didn't update anything with the settings. Chris, I'm curious, how do you have your monitor set up for your streaming? Like right now, if you see me tilting my head, my chat window is a monitor I have to my left. I use my main desktop window as the whole IDE, so I pretty much just share this desktop, and then to the right, I have OBS, which I am watching. I'm just curious. I thought about taking my 4K monitor and fencing it into 4 windows and doing it. So I have like the stream window in one at 1080p, and then the other windows like Twitch and OBS in other windows, just not shared out. Just curious how others do it. Most people share their hardware, but not like how they're physically set up. It's like me, I have to turn my head now to look when you're typing, and I turn my head that way every once in a while to look to see if there's any stats or anything appearing with OBS. Cool. Oh, I forgot that picture. Cool. So that's working now. We updated it fairly easily. The exception of my couple of typos, we were done in like 15-ish minutes. I use Surface Go to see the Twitch desk. Yeah, see, that's the same thing with me. OBS is on the corner. I thought about doing it. So like here, see if I can turn my monitor for a minute. There. See, I have a separate little portable monitor. I actually use this. So I bought this just before COVID happened to bring with me when I go to conferences and, Detroit and other areas. And I've been using it because it's a perfect size. It's a 1080p monitor and it fits chat there perfectly. But I've never thought about putting it underneath. Probably if I did that, my monitor would be so high then. Unless I use maybe maybe I use my cell phone for Twitch just to catch notifications. Because I don't know how long you were typing, but I didn't catch it right away. And it's happened to me before where people chatted and I just totally missed it. Cool. Try to jump on your stream. It's usually right around my lunchtime, so it's good. At least if I'm watching Twitter that day to see when it is. I think I gotta follow you. I think I already follow you, so I get the notifications. It's a freestyle coder. Yep. And I guess I didn't follow you. Oh, follow now. So now I learn. Oh, intended for mature audiences. I should be worried. That's probably because one of the people you're following. Cool. Well, that's all I had. We should be able to see the repo here. And that's it. Oh, went to the wrong spot. I'll update the show notes in the repo in the very beginning. Wow, I haven't modified this file in a while. It's fell all the way to the bottom. Should be able to see the videos by going to contact/outline, outline.md, or not. No, blob/main. And there'll be some video and source somewhere down here so we can see it. Oh, cool. Thank you. Wow. It's a good name. I love Gallo to the moon and back. Cool. Oh, 2 of them must be some new bots. Followed someone else. Okay, Chris, I'll catch you later. Have a good night. Thanks for the tips.